Oh, all right.
Mhm.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Conservatish episode 136, I think. Might be 135. I'm not sure. My name is Peter Feliciano, and I'm so happy that you've come here today. I'm so happy that you're listening wherever you're listening, whether it be Spotify or YouTube or SoundCloud or iTunes. Make sure wherever you're listening to subscribe, leave a review, rate it, or I'll find you and I'll put your neck, like your face, on the ground, facing downward, but to the side with my boot on your neck. And then what I'll do while you're screaming is I'll take a knife, a really sharp knife, and I'll cut along your hairline, and I'll start like, because it's the scalp is not exactly connected. Like there's a lot of sinew and things, so I'll have to like really get in there and pull back and forth. But eventually, what'll happen is you'll be screaming through against the concrete, and then you'll just pass out from pain. So that's what I'll do if you don't subscribe. Um, and and leave a review and rate it. You can find me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano, and you can also support this podcast at patreon.com/conservatish. And you can find me on Twitter or whatever at Rule62Peter. And Jefferson, wherever you're at, Jefferson is our guest today, ladies and gentlemen. This is, I think, the 6th time, maybe. Look at those bubbles. How perfect that. Look at you. You're so celebratory. I'm so glad that you are my stepmom now, because before you were my stepmom, this was a really hard life.
Well, I'm happy I married your father. He's a man of great passion.
He's a gentle lover.
He is got away with the old, if you know what
right,
I mean.
The trombone, the rusty one. Speaking of rusty trombone, where can people find you and your things?
They can find me on Instagram, Jefferson Bergey. They can find me on the old Facebook playground for people who are 50 and older. That seems to be a lot more action on there. Facebook, you can find me, Facebook, Instagram, and Patreon. You can find me at patreon.com, but you really got to look, because I found out recently that you can't find my Patreon unless you either have a link or you click on one of my links, because since I said when I started my Patreon up that there was some stuff that's 18 and over on there, it's made it like impossible to find. So I need to actually reach out to Patreon and change that, because I don't share anything that's actually that horrible, I guess.
Right, bad words.
I use bad words, but I mean, people who use bad words, you can find their Patreon,
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like hidden on the World Wide Web. That's some fucking bullshit. So,
right.
Especially since I'm making them money too when it comes down to it,
What? What do you mean they take a cut? OMG? What horseshit?
So hello Patreon. Let me share my stuff. But actually I will say that through all of this, I have picked up a few more patrons from out of sympathy, maybe. So
because of the corona?
Thank you.
Sympathy money.
People who might have been on the fence to contribute to me in the past, who are like, oh, that motherfucker's got to be miserable right now. Here you go.
Right.
Here you go. Here's a little morsel. Just take that.
Sympathy money's the same way.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care if it's sympathy money. I'll take it.
What a lovely background you have, by the way. Where does that come from?
So Sivan, this is from Sivan's Bob Ross phase. So he did this, and one of the best things about it is if you look in the corner, that's Sasquatch. That's a Bigfoot.
Oh, that's so nice.
That's a Bigfoot. She actually painted another Bob Ross that we ended up giving to my best friend and his wife for a wedding gift. And on that one, she painted another Bob Ross landscape and put a very tiny gay werewolf in the corner of it.
How could you tell it was gay?
It was doing this.
Oh, I'm going to bite you. I'm going to bite your little ass.
It was like, oh, I'm just the werewolf.
No, it's the moon.
Yeah.
I like how the biggest, who's that dude from the 70s? that stereotypical gay from like Hollywood Squares.
Oh, Jim J. Bullock.
Might be that guy. No, I'm thinking about a different guy. I'm thinking about like Circle gets the square. Like it was a very like.
Pretty sure that was Jim J. Bullock. It was the guy who was on what was that show that was based on the guy who drew cartoons with the cow. It was like a some fucking weird sitcom with
Our Side?
Too Close for Comfort, I think was the name of the show.
I've never heard of that before in my life.
Yeah, the show was about a guy who drew a very famous comic, kind of like a Garfield comic, except it was about a cow. And in order for him to actually draw the comic, he had this cow puppet that he would wear on his hand when he drew. It's fucking weird. It was, yeah.
What, an 80s sitcom or a 90s sitcom?
It was 80s. And Jim J. Bullock was the very gay neighbor. Hello, everybody.
So then the 80s, one thing I've realized is no matter how silly the show, in the 80s, they always had a very sincere theme song.
Yeah.
It was always very sincere, and it was always like done by an original guy, like Who's the Boss, or, you know.
So that's funny you mentioned that, because just yesterday, less than 24 hours ago, one of the agencies that I work for out in the Bay Area, called Ivy Hill Entertainment, has started to work on virtual events that they're putting together.
Okay.
Another way for me to possibly get paid. And they asked for me to put together some quick videos of me doing samples of like 2 or 3 songs. I said, okay, here's 7 examples of clips of songs. And I gave them, let's see, Fly Me to the Moon. And I actually dressed up in half my monkey suit and set up my lights and everything. And I gave them Fly Me to the Moon, Africa, the Bare Necessities from the Jungle Book. There's a couple more that I'm missing. Oh, I gave him Shallow, the Star is Born, Bradley Cooper. Hey, man, I'm thinking about the clients, not my own personal case.
I know.
And for the final one, I gave them the Growing Pains theme song.
Growing Pains?
Growing Pains. Growing Pains! I have
Growing Pains.
Yeah, you remember that one.
P-E-E-N.
Do you remember the Growing Pains theme song?
I will as soon as you mention it. How's it go?
Show me that smile again.
Oh no!
Don't waste another minute on your crying.
Another good one was Step by Step, Day by Day. Girls love in a different heaven.
Nothing like a
until like 96.
Nothing like a soulful song about the whitest family ever.
Whitest, right?
The whitest family, you know.
We'll make it better. No, there was also Family Matters. Which one was Family Matters? A wall. The tide is waiting to carry you home. Everywhere you. No. Shit, that's full. That's Full House. Which one is Family Matters? A day gone by. It's the greatest love in the family.
Yeah.
Douchebags. How did they do that? Why did they do that? That's so weird. I love it. But
it was like part of the selling of those shows was just the theme song.
Right.
You know?
A lot of them actually, and they didn't fit the motif. It wasn't like, it was very strange.
The theme songs were way better than the shows. Like Mr. Belvedere's theme song, way better than any episode of Mr. Belvedere. The Who's the Boss theme song, way better than any episode of Who's the Boss. The Family Ties theme song, way better than any episode of Family Ties. What do we do, baby, without us?
I don't remember that one.
Baby, without us.
You know what's weird is that the Michael Jackson Jackson Fox is starting to do a lot of like here's we should do this together. Are we gonna kiss right now? Get away from me! I'm not uncomfortable. Step by step. But no, Michael J. Fox, they've brought him back a couple of times, like they've been trouncing him out. It's a little uncomfortable. They have to immediately say, "Hey, this guy's got Parkinson's. That's why he's shaking." You know what I mean? Like
Speaking
it's
of
very.
which, speaking of which, I fucking guffawed pretty hard at one of your recent Patreon posts of the
Oh,
autograph picture of Michael J. Fox.
I don't know why it's become a thing that my Patreon posts are essentially just the worst,
They're
most.
horrible. Horrible. Like
Because if you
I'm
pull
a
up,
horrible person, and I look at them and I'm like, oh no, Peter, no. Oh my God. I
Instagram,
showed that one to Stevon. She's like, I don't get it, and I'm crying. I'm like, look at this. She's like, why is it a mess? I'm like, look at it.
which is, I mean, if you follow me on Instagram, you already know I'm off the fucking wall. Like my shit is disgusting or scary or scary funny, but it's usually sex oriented or something like that. So
What did you send?
imagine my
What did you send me yesterday? What did you send me? It was like I watched the first 30 seconds of it, and I was like, I don't have the bandwidth for this right now.
PON PON PON. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to pause this right now and I want you to YouTube PON PON PON, like Pam you or whatever the fuck her name is. That is a Japanese or maybe Korean, same thing. Those are those are. It's a fucking amazing. That shit is catchy. That shit is weird, and that was like 7 years ago, 8 years ago when that came out.
As soon as the brain rises into the windowsill, I'm like, I need to watch this at a different time.
I need to be spiritually prepared.
I'm
Yeah,
not.
man. Camille Pamu. I don't think she probably wrote any of the songs that she's done over the years, but she's definitely like, people like posted her up, and she was a very, I don't know if she still is, obviously, because I look Asian, but I'm not connected to the Asian community. But she was like a couture, like a fashionista and things like that. And so what she would do is they just put her on songs, and she would just come up with this weird like harajuku type of like on crack. It was very intense. I love
I,
that shit.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Pon do a drag show, like revive Midnight Febreze. For those of you who don't know that I've done drag before, Midnight Febreze is my drag name. She died. Let's see, I think 2018 was the last time I did a Midnight Febreze. And I would love to do one of my drag performances to that.
You
Have you
should
ever
have.
watched?
I've only seen the scary pictures that you've posted.
Yeah.
A lot of that. No, I've not seen that, but maybe you should revive her for your podcast and do an interview with her.
That would be a lot of editing. No.
So, you ever seen David Byrne interview himself?
No.
So that was an extra off of the Remain in Light. Yeah, and I think it's pretty much not Remain in Light. Stop Making Sense. The movie.
Wow. Okay.
It might be like a DVD extra, but it's typical David Byrne, where he's sitting in a chair. And he's like, "What is music?" And then it like cuts to David Byrne in a different chair. Like, music is blah 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 blah. I'm weird. Back to you. It's kind of interesting.
Was it
It's not
from,
as
or was it like current?
No, this was like done in like 85 or 86 or something. It was from the same time as the concert video. It's not as good as that video. You've seen the video of the kid who interviews himself, like the time travel video. I'll dig that up and send it to you. It's great. So this guy made a video when he was like 9 or 10 years old, like with like a VHS camera kind of thing, and he interviews himself in the future.
Wow.
And so then he finds it, 10, 15 years later, and he answers the questions to his like 10-year-old self. It's great.
Aww.
And at one point the kid asks, he's like, is the dog still alive? And his modern self is like, no, the dog's not still alive. That was 15 years ago. It's great. I'll find it for you.
Okay. How are you doing?
I don't know, man. Like,
Yeah.
days I feel great, and some days I had my first real day of holy fucking shit, will I ever work again? Kind of existential crisis amidst coronavirus a couple days ago, where I was like, I'm a pretty busy guy no matter what, and there's always projects for me to do. I'm never bored. There's always something that I can focus on, and I've probably written 6 or 7 new songs in the past month, and so like I'm constantly doing things, but it's when I stop and I go, oh wait, like I might not be really performing in front of people for another year, possibly. And like the streaming thing, like the live shows that I've been doing my normal Scopo Divino show at home every week. I've done it now 5 or 6 times. I think tomorrow's
really
going to be
like him.
Thanks, but it's getting
I love
weird.
it. By the way, I just will pause you. Just that because we're artists, that's what the reaction is. Because rather than having to be like, oh, thank you. Like when someone says, oh, I liked it, you have to go like, oh, thank you. When we're both artists, we're like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Right.
I just love it. Anyway, continue.
So I mean, they're still fun, and there's still room for improvisation, and it's still wacky and all that. But it's the technical difficulty stuff that's beyond my control that really fucking just. Here's the other thing too, Peter. I'm really looking forward to the day where I can perform my songs in front of people, and I don't see everyone's thoughts popping up on the screen the entire time.
Wow, yeah.
It's like, I'm playing and I look at the screen and I say, hi, Bergie. Hey, the sound staticky. Hey, what about this? Hey, what about that? It's just like, in which I enjoy the comments in retrospect. Like after I perform, it's fun to go back and see the funny shit that people wrote. But like as it's happening, it's just like, it's a lot to process. Even just, I was talking to my voice teacher about it and I said, along with the normal variables that are beyond anyone's control when you're trying to perform, which there always are going to be variables beyond your control. Beyond all that, there's the technical stuff. There's is the Instagram working? Is the Facebook working? Is the sound working? Is my loop pedal working? And as things are going wrong, I'm troubleshooting in my mind. Well, there's gain on that thing and gain on that thing and gain on my guitar and gain on the mic. Which one should I try to fix as I'm trying to fucking perform a song? So the thinking about the singing is going out the window because there's too many other things that are in the way of keeping the show rolling, So I can't complain. People are still tuning in and people are still being generous and they're still tipping. And I've done 6 now. Tomorrow I think will be the 6th Scopo Divino show. I've done 2 family-friendly shows where I've done all stuff that's totally safe, so that friends in the Midwest and the East Coast can have their kids running around while I'm playing, which is cool. And
now,
then,
are there any originals in there?
Yeah, I have a couple of original songs that are safe. And then last night I actually performed for 500 people online for Body Storytelling. So Body Storytelling, which is the sex storytelling show that I've been writing songs for now 5 years, had their first online show last night, and it was totally sold out. I had people texting me within an hour of the show being like, how do we get into this thing? It's sold out. I'm like, it's not like letting a few extra people come in the room, because there is no extra people in the room. Like it has the capacity for this many, and that many are watching, and that's it. So they're doing another one in a couple of weeks, and they're going to up it to, I think, the next level, which I think is 1,000 people who can watch. So
awesome.
That was fun. And then I did my body pajama party last Saturday night, which was
amazing. To see you in red tidy reddies, that was really disturbing.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And like not as bad as like me talking about scalping people at the top of the show, but like, I think it definitely scarred me. I definitely felt scarred.
And then mission accomplished. Then I did what I was supposed to do. Yeah, for people who weren't scarred and didn't get to see it, I threw a pajama party in my bedroom with a whole bunch of psychedelic lights and bubbles and pillow fights. And I went from my robe to Ninja Turtle onesie down to a Superman onesie down to actual Superman underoos, and then finally all the way down to a pair of Batman little underwear with an enormous Easter bonnet.
Fun. Now, question. I don't want to add any more to your already large amount of technical horseshit. But can you post those to your YouTube afterwards? Because I think that would be, people would be interested in seeing that. Now, they obviously, wouldn't get the fun of the live whatever, but if they weren't available that time, they could always go back, and then that's a continuous, hey, tip, Venmo, it's a continuous.
That's true. I don't even know how that works. It took me 5 weeks to figure out how to pin my Venmo and PayPal information just in the Facebook feed. It took me forever to figure that out. I just figured out how to turn my alerts off my email during my shows. I just figured that out. I know.
Wait, were you getting comment and an email every time someone commented?
Bing! Every time my email went off, there was a bing! And I was like, how do I... And again, I'm playing a song, trying to sing. I think there's a way to share it to YouTube. I honestly just don't want to really deal with YouTube, because then I'm probably going to have issues with, my material being posted, and I have to say that it's 18 and older or whatever, because I'm saying dirty shit. I don't know. But I did put clips of it on my Instagram, and I put clips of it on my Facebook page. So there's clips that are out there. Right. I just learned how to do the thing with your iPhone where you can record your screen. That whole screen record thing, I'd never done that before. That's been helpful.
Yeah.
But now I have to move a bunch of shit off my phone because the memory's almost full.
Right. And I've already had to. I think like five or six, maybe 6 or 7 months ago, I had realized I was running out of space on my Google Drive. So now I'm paying for like the 100 gigs or whatever. And then now I'm about to run out of space there. I'm like, okay. I mean, some of that is redundancy. Some of that is, videos from shows from a year ago that I can just get rid of. But a lot of that is not. Some of that is, how honest should I be? Some of that is old titty shots from from girls. What am I supposed to do? Delete them? Fuck you.
Delete this, So I mean, I guess I'm not doing as bad as I'm sure a lot of people are. So everything in perspective, I'm doing okay. I have a nice home to live in. I have a beautiful woman who is
really supportive too.
Yeah, like supportive, and she's employed, which is amazing, and got a great dog, and we're comfortable. So it's more I can say for a lot of people right now, and I'm able to still create and do things and move forward and kind of build an infrastructure at this point of what I really want to be doing. And when the work that takes up a majority of your life and a lot of just your general bandwidth and energy, it's nice to take a step back from that and go, okay, if I really wanted to be doing some stuff, what would I be putting my time into? So, and I'm still teaching, I'm still teaching 2 days a week for a couple of hours here and there. And I've been doing some kickoff meetings, performing for companies on doing Zoom things. So I've done one for the Internet Archive, and I've done one for Facebook, where they tell their team, all right, we're having our meeting right now, and before the meeting starts, here's some music, and they've requested songs that I've learned. Dude, I had to do a mashup. Well, I didn't have to, but I chose to because it was above and beyond, and I wanted to show them that I actually cared. And they asked for Facebook, they asked the team what would their walk-up song be, and the woman, are you drinking Barbasol right now?
Yes.
That's okay. And they asked the team what their walk-up song would be if they were a WWF wrestler or whatever. Okay. And so they took like 5 or 6 of my songs. I gave them a list of like 300 songs that I do. And I said, here, choose what you want. And
none of them were Bollywood songs? I mean, come on. We're talking about Facebook.
So,
Dil Tu Pagal Hai. Everyone look up Dil Tu Pagal Hai. I think it's called. Fucking amazing music, by the way. DILTUPAGELHAI.
Right after you look up Pon Pon Pon. Right after that.
Don't be. You're just being. You just don't like foreigners. That's why you're.
Yes, that's me. I'm xenophobic. That's why I named my dog Xena. That's exactly
exactly. Continue.
So they ended up picking This Is How We Do It. And then a bunch of people wrote in Welcome to the Jungle. And the woman who hired me gets back to me. She's like, I know Welcome to the Jungle's not on your list. And I'm like, there's nothing sadder than a guy with an acoustic guitar trying to do Welcome to the Jungle. That is sad. So I learned how to play Welcome to the Jungle on acoustic guitar. And I mashed it up with This Is How We Do It. And I built a loop and I did a whole bunch of shit. And at 8:30 in the morning, I performed it for a full team of Facebook people. So, you know what? It's the Wild West right now, and the many different ways that we can come up with to create money. If we can figure out a bunch of different hoses to drip into one funnel of currency, then it is what it is. But I think the last thing that we should be doing right now is just sitting and feeling sorry for ourselves. So.
Yeah, I was talking with somebody else about this. I think on a previous episode. Like, I don't get. I think I was talking to Ian Fidance about it. I don't have the experience where like a lot of people do because they're not working or whatever. They have this like abundance of free time. Like I'm a little jealous of it, but like, you know, I think yesterday I finished this, you know, I was worried kind of all week, slowly working on this school project, and I finally finished it. And I'm like, man, I did a great job. I feel really good about it. I'll, you know, tweak it, you know, today, I'll tweak it tomorrow, whatever. But I'm like, done. And then the rest of the day, I was just like, I mean, I have things to do, but I was like, I guess I'll watch like a movie or something. Like, I'm slowly making my way through Tiger King. Like, it was weird to just like.
How are you slowly making your way through that show?
I don't like bad people. Like, it's not just bad people, because I do obviously like bad people. I'm on this show with you, but I don't, it's just, there's something grating about it, and there's something kind of like sad. It's more sad than anything. It's more just like someone's a horrible person. They're both everybody involved is a horrible person.
Everyone. That's why I say in that stupid song that I wrote about it that the only person that makes any sense, he don't have no legs.
Right. I do like that legless motherfucker.
He's like the most likable guy in there. You're like, yeah, that guy didn't do anything wrong, and he stayed out of the shit, and you know, it's still captivating, you know. And I will say, I will go on record and say that whatever it was, a month ago when we watched that show, I said to Sivan as soon as it was over, I said, that motherfucker is not singing those songs. He's not singing those songs. She's like, really? And I said, he talks like this. How can a guy who talks like this suddenly have this nice voice? It didn't make any sense. Oh, God damn it. Oh, Carol Baskin. Fuck you, Carol Baskin. God damn it. Like, that guy's not singing those songs. Sure enough. That's one of the weirdest things to me about that whole thing. Beyond the exotic cats and hiring people to kill people, and beyond all that craziness, the fact that that guy is so vain and so obsessed with fame or whatever that he would put out multiple records of people who wrote and performed songs that he had nothing to do with, but still shoot videos of him like pretending to play an acoustic guitar standing in a pickup truck. Like, what?
And as far as the psychology of it, it bothers me, and like it reminds me of, like, you know, because you wanna believe that a lot of people are not like you watched The Office, the American Office, didn't you?
I'm familiar.
Oh, okay. Did you watch the later episodes, the last episodes? Okay, like I want to believe like Andy is not like the type of person. Andy's a character on it, and he's just like so hungry for fame at the end, and so like he just completely becomes unlikable as fuck. And I get that, but a piece of me is just like, people can't be that. What is my question? I guess have you had times in your life where the fame hunger outweighed the desire to be musical?
Oh,
Okay.
and I'm saying that with all honesty because I've from the moment that I started to write songs, my thought it was always like my like pie in the sky was always like to be a guy like Bob Schneider, who I've mentioned to you before is one of my favorite songwriters. He's not a household name,
Right.
but thousands of people love his music and follow him and support him and all that kind of thing.
Right.
But my dream was to be successful doing music,
Right.
but never have to deal with any of the fame stuff. Because to me, that seems like I think of fame as being like a Black Mirror episode, you know, like that kind of, or like a Palantir from Lord of the Rings that where like if you touch it, everyone can see you, you
Right.
know. I don't that's never held any sort of weight for me. Not to mention the fact that I just don't have the chops. And I'm 40. So, I mean, but no, that's never been, that's
39.
no, right. Except I do know now, since I now have the longest beard I've ever had. And
Dude, I'm fucking telling you right now, leave the gray or I'll cut off your face. I don't know why I'm
well,
obsessed with cutting off skin today.
I mean,
Gray.
Sivan gave me a mohawk a couple of weeks or a faux hawk a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
And so which made me realize, okay, now I know what I would look like if I was both a punk rock guy and homeless at the same time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But they're the same type of person, by the way.
that's true.
What did you get? You were never really into 90s Bowie, were you?
90s Bowie, like Tin Machine Bowie?
I don't know about no, Tin Machine isn't the one with I'm Afraid of Americans, is it? No, I don't think so.
It might be.
But
It's a heavy metal band in the early 90s.
he what?
Yeah, it was like a very aggressive like metal band kind of that he was in. Wasn't it? Tin Machine?
No, I don't know if he was ever in another band. I thought maybe just like that was an album name. But like there was this one album, by the way, that's a concept album that is fucking great that has a bunch of good shit on it, called Outside. And but like that whole era is very like I have a mohawk and Trent Reznor is my producer. Like it's very 90s, but it's very Bowie and it's very good. It has some really good shit in it, and that's what that haircut reminds me of.
Yeah. Cool. I'll go with that.
Mm. Um, so, but as far as the fame thing, like I have found myself, and one of the things that I said, like going into music was like, okay, number one, I'm going to give myself actually 10 years of actually trying before I get to really complain. I have broken that. But that was one of my goals. And the other one was just to ultimately, when I boil it down, I just want to be self-supporting. I want to be able to support myself and also have some sort of a cult following, but the thing is that for me with social media, it starts to get into that. If I'm not taking care of myself spiritually, especially, it starts to get into this vein of like anger and fighting with the systems that are already set up. You know what I mean? Mostly on Instagram and Facebook, thinking like, okay, well, I mean, I have to get people's eyes on me in order to have them see the thing that I'm creating. So I think I've pulled away from just that simple goal, which is I don't
Which is
know. I'm trying
writing
to find it.
songs, writing
Huh?
songs, writing songs.
Listen, I have written some songs over the last few weeks.
If
One of them. Go ahead.
you would take, if you could put energy into a vial, all right, little vial of energy, little vial of attention, how many of those vials do you throw down a day that are posting on Instagram and Facebook versus the little vials of energy that you could throw back into writing a song?
I have pulled away from writing songs as fervently, but creating content is another thing. The podcast is part of it.
Sure.
The idea of writing comedy is another piece that pulls me away from that. And also, I still feel, as far as the rhythm of writing of a rhythm of the rhythm of the writing a song, I'm still in that vein of I get excited about an idea, and I have the melody, and I might even have an idea of a concept or lyrics. But as soon as I get it into my phone and I can play some song, play some guitar and I have it there, now it's there and it's nothing ever happens from it until like maybe weeks later I'll go back and I'll be like, no, I don't like that, or oh my God, that's fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that I do feel a frustration when it comes to time to actually sitting down and putting down lyrics, and it has a lack of inspiration. And I think I posted about this on Instagram or Facebook as well, and we talked about it probably before. I don't feel no fucking inspiration when it comes to the guitar anymore. Like to sit down with an acoustic guitar, unless the idea comes in my head or the melody comes in my head or the harmony comes in my head, and then I might sit down with a guitar. But like as far as sitting down with a car and fucking around until something comes, I don't have the inspiration for it. You know what I mean? Like I have some Reverend who's been on my show, metal drummer. He and a friend of his, sent me over some metal tracks, and we're gonna do a metal song. But like, and so I have some more inspiration when it comes to that. I have some more inspiration when it comes to like comedy. I have some more inspiration when it comes to stand up or when it comes to the podcast or whatever. And also, you know, posting on Instagram in a funny way or creating videos that way that are enticing, or memes or whatever, is another artistic output. But I do feel stifled when it comes to writing with a fucking acoustic guitar. It's bothersome to me. I feel like I've done this already.
Are you
And
better?
probably, honestly, partially because I lack the chops, like you're saying. Like I don't have an interest or an inspiration for acoustic guitar writing because I don't really care about the fucking acoustic guitar. I don't care about guitar at all.
That's fair. That's fair. What if, and this was an idea I was tossing around with Sivan, what if you were in like a songwriting club, we'll say? What if you had a deadline and once a week you had to hit a deadline where you came up with a song and putting no parameter on what a song means as far as length or whatever. And if someone gave you a phrase or a couple of words and said, this is your assignment for the week. By this time next week, you have to have a voice memo or a video of a song that features these words. Would that inspire you or force you to feel inspired?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is an idea.
I've heard of a lot of, comedy writers or sketch writers have a lot of that too, like a writing club.
So this is again a Bob Schneider thing. Bob Schneider has a songwriting club that he's had for years. Bob has thousands of songs. Doesn't mean they're all good. He says thousands of songs, and he has a songwriting club where it's probably, I don't know how big the group is because it's only like really acclaimed songwriter. You have to really be I don't know, published, or you have to be someone who like a name kind of. I think Jason Mraz was in his songwriting club for a while. I think Ben Folds was in the songwriting club for a while, and he would
Which
put
you
out.
look like a combination of the two of them. But anyway, continue.
Thank you very much. And that was the thing. So every week there would be an assignment, and he would send out an email, and within a week you had to share your song with everyone in the email. And the week that you don't turn one in, you're out. You get kicked out of the songwriting club. You're out. And then so the longer that you stick to it, the longer that you go, okay, here's the assignment. A week later, you turn something in, you're still in. And that way other songwriters get to hear what you came up with too, which is great. Now, Casey Turner, who's a promoter in San Francisco, had a songwriting club like that 7 or 8 years ago that I jumped into, and actually wrote Rhythm of the Road that you just quoted. That was a songwriting club song. The title was Rhythm of the Road. This is what you have to do. And I wrote a song about a drug deal gone wrong and the FBI agent in the trunk trying to figure out how far he's being taken by the rhythm of the road. And there was a number of songs that I still perform that are from that songwriting club. Then and then I don't know, it just kind of withered away and it just kind of went away. And about a month ago, he started to back up again. And I'm like, oh, like this, why not? So the first one that he put out there was Can't Tell Anymore. Those are the words. Can't Tell Anymore. So I wrote a song that I ended up titling Stage Mommy, Sport Daddy. And it's written from the perspective of a bunch of siblings who don't want to be athletes or movie stars.
Okay.
Yeah, and they decide to run away. So that's what the song was about. I love Casey Turner. He does cool stuff. He does great house concerts. He's super connected. I call him a friend, but I will say that the other people participating in that songwriting club did not stimulate me in any way, shape, or form. And I just kind of bailed on it. I was like, I want my own songwriting club. I want to be challenged and be sharing my music with other songwriters that I personally really enjoy their stuff.
Okay, so let me pause you though. Define not inspirational. Do you feel like it wasn't like what's the emotional? Let's not focus on them because you know me, I'd love to just be like because they suck ass, Yeah. But what's the emotional note that's not getting struck in you?
Well, I guess part of it is a quality thing. So it really kind of does come down to that. I watched like 3 or 4 other people who contributed, and I'm like, what? I'm like, why did I put all this work into this week and do this? And I mean, I'm happy I have a new song, but like, and also Casey does things that are for everybody. It's family friendly. It's very inclusive as far as, it's all very kind of milk toast to me.
Right.
Like the following week's assignment was Hand in Hand in the Rain. I'm like, I'm not writing a song called Hand in Hand in the Rain.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And then the following week, it wasn't even an assignment. It was cover a John Prine song. I'm like, that's, rest in peace, John Prine. I'm as sad as anyone is that we've lost a great songwriter, but like, I'm not doing that, So, and then the next week, I think was something like The Sun Came Out Today. I was like, what these like Hallmark card things?
Right.
Like, this doesn't like. I wanted someone to be like, purple rhinoceros lampshade, go,
Right.
or something that makes you go, huh? What can I do with that?
Now, question: is a piece or maybe the entire thing here? Is it an exercise? Is that the main purpose of doing that? Is so that you can not just obviously be inspired by others, be supportive, but also build this muscle within yourself for writing and stretching your mind.
Yeah, but like, okay, so if it was an exercise, I don't need the part where like at the end of the exercise we all hug each other because we're so happy we exercised.
Then you shouldn't be in the Bay Area, you dumb motherfucker. This is what I keep. You want to know why New York is the #1 coronavirus fucking place? Because we actually talk to each other, you dumb motherfuckers. San Francisco, oh, stay inside? Yes, please. That's what you already fucking do.
So I don't know. I just am not. I love the idea. I'm just not stimulated by it because I'm not. I don't like look at the postings and go, okay, what's this week's assignment going to be? Oh, that's crazy. That's weird. That makes me think completely outside of the box. None of the assignments are making me think outside of the box. They're making me think of the cheesy shit that inevitably show up, the following week. I'm not saying all this to bash Casey Turner's songwriting club because I think it's a great thing, and I think there's a lot you can get out of it. But I also don't. It's another one of those situations where I feel like a piglet in a litter of pugs. I'm like, wait a minute. I look like you guys, but I don't think I'm supposed to be here. So.
And maybe part of that is that maybe that songwriting club is for people who are newer in the game, who haven't found their authentic voice. Maybe that's part of it because you already have. You know what I mean? Being a piglet, you hang out with the fucking piglets. You know, that's
Yep.
why I came to fucking New York or whatever. But like,
Yes. Yeah, I
you know,
guess if I had like 5 or 6 other songwriters, you being one included, that I could do that on like a weekly or monthly basis, I think it'd be way more interesting than it would be if I was doing it with people who don't write songs that much or hobbyists, you
right.
know. Um,
People who also aren't interested in like their main goal is not to be a songwriter or to be an
yeah,
artist. Yeah.
yeah, you know. So just something to keep in mind.
I'd
If
love
I
that. I'd like that.
Yeah, and it'd be a good again, and you said it perfectly. It is an exercise. That's what it is. I guess I just don't want to exercise with those people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Taking my yoga mat and going somewhere else.
Right. Um, yeah, that's an interesting idea. I hadn't thought of that in the vein of like songwriting, and I guess I'm sure I've come across that idea or that concept before, but not, I mean, when I listened to where did I hear? It was either Bonnie McFarlane, who's a fucking comedian I adore, either her book or some other comedian talking, or it might have been sketch writing. Yeah, it must have been
Oh
sketch
yeah.
writing, where a lot of those guys will go, or a storyteller or whatever will go and bring their sketch, weekly or whatever, and they'll do it at a coffee shop or whatever, and they'll just like, here's the sketch, boom, and it's, maybe somebody will give them feedback or an instructor will give them feedback, but essentially it's just a place to do that.
Well, that's the other thing too, is like there's nothing worse than anyone who's spent any time in school beyond high school in any sort of creative writing capacity, there's nothing worse than having to sit with like 25 other people and go, okay, here's the poem that everyone wrote this week. Let's one by one give everyone feedback. It's like, as far as the feedback part of a songwriting club, you could take it or leave it. Like you could not give any feedback at all. Be like, cool, good job, everyone. Here's the next assignment. Just move on. You know? And that way, like weeks into it, you can be like, hey, Peter, dude, that song you did 2 weeks ago was fuck. You should really put some more time into that one and
Right.
expand on it,
That I think that might actually help me in the way, because you've always been more prolific in the way that in the fucking amount of songs that you have. And partially is because you've been doing it longer, because you're 73, but also partially it's because you've learned the muscle of not being precious with them.
Yeah.
And I still have this idea of, like one of the thoughts that I had when you said writing a new song every week, I was just like, what if I forget them? Like, what if I like run out of things to like write, or not run out of things to write about? Because I know I have that well, but it's almost like I'm saving that well. It's almost like, and part of that I think is the impetus to try and write comedy and be more rant centric and more stage centric in that way. But I don't want to just completely throw my songwriting out the window at all. I don't know. Yeah.
So I don't know if I could pull together. I guess I need to do more research online as far as other singer-songwriters that are at the, level that I'm at, the level. That's funny to even put myself on a level, but
no, fuck that. I think part of the, I think part of the thing, like I said earlier, that idea in my body that's like, I need to post things because people need to like them. Part of that is a good thing because you do need to have confidence. You know what I mean? Like you do need to have, I think I was writing a letter to Camille Paglia, who I want to have on the show. She's a first wave feminist, lover to fucking death. And I wrote her, I tweaked it and tweaked it and tweaked it, the letter, because I wanted it to be just perfect. One of the feedback that a friend helped me out with was, I mean, yeah, it's a good letter, but there's this one part you're not sounding very confident. You know what I mean? Because it's like, this is a hero of mine. I almost naturally come into it with like, oh, please, would you please come on my shit show? That doesn't mean it. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, that's funny, or it can be whatever. That's probably honest, but like, it doesn't. You know what I mean? So somebody, I think Ian Fidance, as much as I love the episode that we did, could have been better if I didn't have the the feeling that nervousness that I came into it with, because I'm just a lowly serf and you are lowering your, you are debasing yourself, like, to come on the show. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But, I work better with deadlines. So that's helpful for me. Like, I have a deadline for next week. I'm writing a song for this Jazz Mafia project, or this thing where they're basically giving grants to people for like the best 60 songs or something that are written, and you have to submit them or whatever. And that's going to be a challenge because it's supposed to have a good message to it, and I'm writing it.
Right.
So
define good.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Casey Turner-ish?
No, I mean that's a whole lot of
San Francisco.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, and it's hard to write something that's positive about what's going on right now, because it's all really fucked up. I don't have to explain to you. You're living in New York, where there's 1 billion cases of it there right now. And, like, what is your take on all these states that are starting to, like, let people just go back out into this whole, like, economy before people thing, I mean, have you seen the footage of people in, like, Huntington Beach protesting?
Yeah, I've seen a little bit, yeah. What's my take on it?
Like, it's hard to write positive things about, like, the fact that we are, and I'm quoting a comedian named Mike Fanoia right now, who recently said, we are at the mercy of the dumbest people right now. That's how we're going to get through this. We're at the mercy of the dumbest people.
I think we always have. But I think it's not the dumbness. It's not the dumbness. My take, if you really want to be honest, is that, or of course I will be, and so do you, but, like, my take is that the reason I don't like demonizing those people, I don't agree with them, and Lord knows I have a hard time, like, walking down the street and not holding my breath when someone is, like, 10 feet away from me, because I'm just obsessive compulsive that way. But, like, so I'm being personally very, very careful, and I believe we all fucking should be. But my gut reaction, being the guy who's not, who's friends with a lot of liberal people online and elsewhere, who just gut reaction into that being stupid, that's what bothers me. But I will say I agree with you that we are at their mercy. At the same time, I think the actual problem is not dumbness. That may be a symptom, but the actual problem is, just like far left motherfuckers, they are so stuck in to this idea that Trump is saying to do it, so I'm not going to do it, even if it's me literally living.
Yeah.
And the other side is like, AOC said to do it, so fuck you, I'm not going to do it. But they have to mentally rationalize that the risk is lower than what they're being told. And the reason why they do it is because, so it's not that they actually feel economy over life. They just are so stuck in their haunches and stuck in their ways of, now that things are calming down and the curve is flattening a little bit, and it's getting a little fucking better, it's calming down a little bit. You know what? Fuck you. This is a New York thing. This is a California thing. This is an AOC thing. This is a Trump thing. This is, whatever. They're stuck in their ways, and so they're reacting. Do I think it's smart? No. Do I think it's fucking healthy? No. But I think we've always kind of been at the mercy of the dumb,
Yeah.
And I think it doesn't help it to just
call them dumb.
To call it, not. I'm not saying that to you, but I'm saying, like, as far as people on Facebook or Instagram who want to help motherfuckers not do that, it's the exact opposite of what they're fucking doing. Is just to say, idiot Trump supporters go out to the fucking, they're just stupid. They probably hate gays too. Like, shut the fuck up. If you want that to not happen, don't make it fucking worse. I'm not saying that there's nothing to do. There's probably other ways to maybe come at it from a place of love and understanding, that they're sick people who are just stuck in their ways or whatever. But you're making it worse to say, idiot Trump support, like just like the other side, idiot AOC Bernie fucking supporters. All it's just
Science.
Yeah, but does that make sense? I think that's an answer.
Yeah, no, it does. But they're dumb.
And listen, and they're also they're not in New York where it's the worst. A lot of these motherfuckers have not even come on quarantine like until like a fucking week ago or 2 weeks ago. Like they, you know what I mean? Like it hasn't touched them the way it's touched us in New York.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't like blame them. Just like in Kentucky, they live with and interact with guns fucking all the time. So of course, someone in San Francisco or New York is going to be like, "You're like gun. Why would you even have a gun?" You know what I mean? There's a lot of, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Because of a lack of experience.
Well, that's what drives me crazy. Is like, why? I mean, asking why Trump does anything is a fool's game to begin with. But like, why yell the words "liberate yourselves" and your Second Amendment is, they're going to try to take away your guns. Why yell that to everyone now and have everyone show up with their guns to protest the fact that their states are trying to look out for them and keep them safe? It just seems.
Was that in reaction to Corona quarantine?
All the tweets that he put out yesterday or the day before, like, liberate Minnesota, liberate Wisconsin. Your Second Amendment rights are in danger. That's why all these people are showing up to protest with all their semi-automatic rifles and shit. Right. It's what does that do to help?
I don't know I don't know the context. I don't know whether it's connected to a bill that was just signed that, where they're saying stay indoors, but we're also going to take guns. I don't know for sure. But I
don't care about people with guns at all. But scaring people into thinking their guns are going to be taken so that they flex their guns sounds like a pretty silly thing to do during a time when everyone's already scared and trying to stay safe.
Right. I don't mind the flexing of the gun if it's in context, but it's the idea of, I don't know.
Listen, like I just want this to be over as quickly as anyone else does, because I make a majority of my living off of performing for right. rooms full of people, for right. like corporate events and weddings. That's not to mention, the Freestone Peaches things I do, the Allman Brothers stuff that I sing, and my own creative stuff. Like that all requires people to be in the room, and I'm reading that like there's a chance that there's not going to be any live shows until like the fall of 2021, and that, because that's the thing, is like it's going to take a long time to kind of phase back into what normalcy is or whatever, but it's not going to be normal. I think San Francisco made it a mandate today that everyone has to wear masks in public. Like it's like a mandated thing. You get a ticket if you don't. Right. Which is a way to try to get this thing under fucking control so we can start our lives again. Even though,
although I will say that's more of a muscle flex than anything else. That's more of a cultural muscle flex, because San Francisco has been fucking quiet for like weeks as far as quarantine goes, like or as far as coronavirus diagnoses. Like they did a good job, like I said, because of how San Francisco they are. Of course, they did a good job quarantining. You know what I mean?
Because Gavin Newsom was doing his thing where he talks like Gavin Newsom, and together we are. That guy is such a robot, man. That guy, honestly, Max Headroom should play him in a movie.
You know what?
Coronavirus.
I love, by the way, that I'm grateful to be as young as I am, because the only real reference I understand is the Back to the Future 2.
Yeah.
When it comes to Max Headroom.
Yeah, you were on the Max Headroom television show that was on for like 4 episodes.
Yeah. You were born in a fucking covered wagon.
Born in a crossfire hurricane. Jumpin' Jack Flash, baby.
Oh.
Gas, gas, gas. Sorry.
Don't even get me fucking started the fucking Rolling Stones. Ugh, whatever. Anyway, I don't like them.
Best description of the Rolling Stones I ever heard was Conan O'Brien. He called them a bunch of mummies. Which is funny.
Yeah, it's
true.
Right. We'll start wrapping up in a minute, but like I did want to say, as far as putting a button on that idea of the Trump thing, I think because I am super fucking guilty of this too, but when you come at it when you understand, whether it be months ago or years ago, or when you make the decision internally, this person has bad intentions, then you will see whatever decisions they make in a different light. I.e., Trump is obviously bad intentioned. He wants money over people's lives. Mm-hmm. The other side is not coming from that. They're coming from, or not other side because everybody's gray, but the other side is going, Trump is doing things for us. So they come at a decision like tweeting what he did from that lens.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying, but is there a way that I can look at Newsom or AOC and not say they are evil communists who want to ruin this? Because I get friends with and I follow, sometimes pretty quickly unfollow, but like because of my show, I have motherfuckers on extreme on both sides, and I'm too in the middle for both motherfuckers.
Right.
So I see some people posting like Trump is I hope he gets coronavirus. And then 2 seconds later, I'll see somebody saying, "Fucking AOC and the pizza party," or whatever. So whatever that conspiracy theory about people in power, molesting kids or whatever. Like, although technically, a piece of that is right, Jeffrey Epstein. But anyway, but like
one big piece of that pizza pie.
Yes, but like to the point where like
on the cover, yeah.
Right, but like to the point where motherfuckers are saying Tom Hanks wasn't actually on SNL in his home. He was in prison, but they like dressed up a kitchen because if Tom Hanks actually went to jail because of pedophilia, then that means it would fuck with the American public so much. And that's why they like that side is so crazy too. But both motherfuckers have automatically, whether it be a long time ago or whatever, have made the decision, this person who doesn't agree with me has bad intentions. And that's why I want to stick fucking gray area down people's fucking faces, because we're not going to get better unless people are like me. Like there's like I kind of see Trump, like I said a million times, I don't agree with everything he's fucking doing. Do I think he's a child? Abso-fucking-lutely. Do I think he's insecure about his pee-pee? Abso-fucking-lutely. Do I think he's almost myopic and kind of almost Asperger's when it comes to certain things, especially the idea of seeing himself or his brand, protecting the Trump brand? Absolutely.
His ratings during all this. His ratings. Hey, people that are watching my press conferences more than Monday Night Football. It's because motherfuckers are dying. Dying.
Now, that is a stupid thing he said. At the same time, do I think, number one, we are all screwed because of that myopicness or whatever the word is? Fucks no, because there are enough motherfuckers around him to protect us all, like the boy in the bubble, from too much, from the level of being affected, that sometimes people on the left want to say that we're all going to die because of Russia, and we're always all going to fucking die. We've been always about to die since fucking before Jesus. They were saying Jesus was going to come back fucking 2 weeks after the motherfucker got crucified. And now we're still going to be panic mode? Shut the fuck up. Like, that's why I can't stand whoever's in power. Enough with that, we're all going to die. Shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't mean make a decision and be strong in your feelings and strong on your vote and strong on your posting or whatever. But add just a pinch of salt to that shit. Add a pinch of salt to yourself. You know what I mean?
Well, when I think about, so we'll just let the month of February of this year be a gray spot, be a gray area, for every golfing trip he took, every rally he did, every Mar-a-Lago weekend hangout, while a bunch of this really could have been avoided. But that's just science and facts. Eh.
Okay. But actually, at the same time, the World Health Organization in February said, hey, don't do travel bans because it's xenophobic. So, yes, I would say it's a gray area.
Yeah.
And that's science, too, right?
And then in an alternate universe where Hillary Clinton was elected president in 2016, I probably wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to go see fish in Mexico in February. So that's fine.
Why? Oh, I see.
She would have probably. Well, who knows? Who knows?
And that's and just to put a nice little bow on that, I don't know either. Just because I don't like Hillary now, I begrudgingly voted for her in 2016. But doesn't mean that I think my life would be so horrendous that we'd all be burning in hell because of Pizzagate, blah blah blah, because of evil Pizzagate Hillary got in. Like I think a life would be different, but not to the point where I need to like lead a revolution or eat the rich. You fucking douchebags on Facebook. God, I hate motherfuckers. Anyway, but I also will that last thing just by saying Italy didn't fucking know neither. Yeah. Nobody. It's fucking every country. Every country. No country was prepared unless they're like fucking not Abu Dhabi. What's the place with they're really rich? Dubai. Dubai not only are doing a better job because there are like 7 people there, but also because they have a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Fuck you, throw away. I'm gonna build a building that twists money.
Yeah.
So of course we kind of have more, but every country, no president, no world leader was prepared. We're doing it the good way. In February, especially, you were talking about February. Nancy Pelosi was like, "Come to Chinatown, everything's cool." Like none of us knew how to do this.
She wasn't saying go to China. She was saying come to Chinatown. She was basically saying that so that people weren't taking horrible racist stances against Chinese people.
No, I think she was saying that because she also understood that the people who were putting on the Chinese New Year's parade needed the money. The business and the shops there are putting pressure on Nancy Pelosi. Hey, motherfucker, we need our nut for the year. Tell everybody to come here. Yeah. It's not because, you know what I'm saying? So I understand the pressure she got, but all I'm saying is everybody's guilty here and everybody's innocent. Calm the fuck down. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying everybody was culpable in this, not as much as China. Let's just be fucking real. I've ranted about it enough.
Yeah,
but this is.
I'm on the same side as, and I usually don't agree with Bill Maher that much. Usually he just fucking pisses me off. Yeah. But I agree with that whole thing he did last week about it. The virus did come from China. If the virus came from San Diego, it would be called the San Diego virus. So that's besides the point, And
I actually lived in Chinatown for years, and I actually have been to Shenyang, China. The practices there, they're wonderful people, but the government is shit, and their practices are not fucking healthy. They don't have OSHA. They don't give a they're like, I'll just dust it off. It's fine. Eat it. Otherwise, don't be a Westerner. Turns out, sometimes being Western's fucking good. Just adopt a little bit. Just get some antibacterial wipes and adopt a little bit of Western shit. We don't want, I know there's a lot of Starbucks and KFC there, and you're mad about it, but that doesn't mean go so anti-Western that you kill thousands of fucking people. Anyway,
if you have an option to eat anteater or not eat anteater, I'd say maybe pass on anteater. I'd be like, you know what? I'm driving. I can't have the anteater today.
Yeah. Oh, Jefferson Bergey. Where can people find you? Again, please remind everybody.
Jefferson Bergey on Facebook, on Instagram, and if they want to support my creative endeavors, they can find me at patreon.com/Jefferson Bergey. And actually, I just started a new thing. for my patrons. You know, I do this game called Let's Negotiate a Cover every week at Scopo Divino.
Right.
And they're usually horrible. They're usually horrible ideas that I have to then perform for people, like mashing up Tom Petty songs being performed by Beavis and Butthead, or and I've actually taken some of those. I've started not a podcast, but I've started little mini 10-minute episodes that I'm sharing on Patreon for the patrons. I'm calling it the worst of Let's Negotiate a Cover, and I'm digging.
And you're performing the song?
No, I'm digging through my archives. I have live recordings from every time I've performed at Scopo Divino. So nice. I'm taking. Let's see. I just released one that was from earlier this year. That was I had to perform a Dire Straits song using the voices of only Star Wars characters. So I just prepared another one that I'm releasing this week for patrons, and that one was from President's Day of last year, and that one was Rocket Man performed by Donald Trump, and Iron and Wine. Yeah, so
Iron and Wine.
Iron and Wine. Yeah.
Lord, are those the motherfuckers who did White Room and Black Curtains?
Iron and Wine is one guy. It's a guy named Sam Beam, and he does very hushed recordings. He did that really hushed recording, that cover of Such Great Heights, that Postal Service song. He's a really good songwriter. In fact, I have a bunch of his albums. He's great, but he's very, very hushed and very quiet. Anyway, so I'm starting to share those with my patrons on a semi-weekly basis, along with the other things that I share with them. So Patreon is a great place to find me, especially if you want stuff that I'm not giving out to anybody else.
Awesome. Do you want to plug anything else? Do you have anything coming up besides that?
Let's see. Do I have anything coming up? Well, the only other thing I can plug is if you work for a company that needs music for virtual meetings or for virtual events, I'm here and I'm performing every Monday night, my Scopo Divino show, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Who gives a fuck? Whatever time that is, other places. I think that's what time is that in New York? What time is 7 p.m.?
There's no tech companies out here. There's pizzerias and that's it.
Well, you can watch my Scopo Divino show live every Monday night on Facebook and Instagram. That's where you can find me.
Amazing.
But it's wonderful to see you being safe, and I'm happy that you're okay. And we still miss you. And you're still very handsome. And if you make that face for long enough, it might stick. Just to
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano. You can support this podcast at patreon.com/conservatish. You can Facebook and Twitter and all that shit too. And remember to subscribe or you'll be missing the top of your head. You'll probably die from getting scalped. Probably. Because I'm not going to sew you up. Why the fuck would I do that? So just, if you want to keep your life, make sure you subscribe and rate us and review and share this with your less offendable friends.
Yeah.
And I miss you guys too. God damn it. Sometimes I miss the Bay a lot. I miss the fucking
weird time to move to New York.
Good thing this is all going to work out because I would be really mad.
You had to hightail it back. Oh, look, Peter's rolling back into town.
Fuck that, dude. I would rather. I mean, I'm going to give it a long time. And by that time, something will happen and I'll, meet some fucking skinny little blonde bitch who was like, no, I don't want to.
Peter, write songs and finish watching Tiger King. Oh, I have a movie for you to watch too. Do you have a Hulu password or can you get one?
Yes, I think. Yeah, dude, I think
there's a movie called Greener Grass that Sivan and I watched last night. It is one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen in my entire.
Is that Edward Norton?
I don't know who's in it. I can't. There's recognizable actors. Just do a Google search of Greener Grass, dude. It is. I'm not going to say anything else.
Okay. I like that. You have to finish watching PON PON PON, you fuck.
Deal. I will right now.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Jefferson, for coming on the show. I love you all very much. I love you, Jefferson. Tell your dog and your lovely woman that I said hello. And I'll see you soon.
I'll be here for you, brother.
Bye.
Thanks for having
Don't get
me.
corona. Bye.
Bye. Here's one more bubbles.